Live for a moment of harmony today. Let me just see. Are we situated though? Mercy, y'all. Mercy. Trying to get, and I still feel like the camera is like slanted, but what you gonna do? Okay. We're all live. We're here for a moment of harmony. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have gotten many inboxes and messages from individuals that are logging on looking for a moment of harmony. We are running, if you're live, we're running about 30 minutes behind. So definitely, Mommy Mercy. We have such a jam-packed day. We have some extra people in the house. I guess kind of when don't we? We have a lot going on today. The jungle is jungling. However, I am here for our moment because I would not miss it for anything. At the very least, I would reschedule for tomorrow, but no need because I'm here. We're here on a Saturday morning for a Saturday moment, and I'm super excited and grateful for you to join us. I'm grateful for you being here and being a part of our moment. I'm grateful for you being a super whole asset to everything that we're doing here today, everything that we do here today. So love and light and welcome to a moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are in Meiotic Moments, which has been by far my most favorite series under a moment of harmony. We are going through the 42 laws of Ma'at. We are finding practical tools and resolutions to being able to build our character, strengthen our character, make our character a part of our overall wellness and wholeness, of all the things that we focus on, making sure that it is in the number. So we are at week number 14 this week. We're at law number 14. I have not felt sorrow without reason. It's gonna be a big one, y'all. So buckle in. If you're a note taker, get your notes together. If you're a recorder, get your recording together. If you're just here and you're just a healer and a seer and a seeker, come and sit with your girl because I'm excited to get into literally every one of these laws because our ancestors were brilliant and dynamic in the creation of these laws and how they pertain to our lives and how we can better improve our lives and our beingness. Good morning. Hey, Miss Dakota. Hi, everyone from India. Look at India on. Many thanks. So but just they were brilliant in how we just can improve and better our lives. I'm so very grateful for you all. Thank you for the beautiful, beautiful energy in the chat. Super, super grateful. But yes, how we can better live our lives, how we can better be ourselves. I'm gonna move my my work and mail over a little bit so I can, cause y'all know I gotta move when I'm talking. So it's been my greatest, one of my greatest it's just been one of my greatest moments, one of my series. So I'm super excited to get into it. I want to first give a shout out to the twins, Johnny and I knew they are having their birthday party today. Much love out to them. We will be showing up there to see you guys later. Love out to Mama Yatale. She's a huge exchanger and supporter of the moment. So excited to celebrate her birthday today. Virgo season is in, so much love to all the Virgos. Great things happen in Virgo season. Love you all. What, Michael, Beyonce, Virgo season just be popping. Thank you so much. So very blessed. So very grateful for you all. Such a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The chat is just beautiful today. You guys are beautiful today. My gosh. Sometimes we get some strange things in the chat. So I'm super grateful when it's all positive and it's all love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for Morocco. Yeah, okay, hi. Hi, look at everyone. They're getting their moment around the world. It's a global moment, okay? Give thanks. Give thanks. So, want to give shout out to them. I want to go ahead, and today's moment is super duper dedicated to my mother. I'm dedicating this moment to Victory Swift. Love and light to you always. Big Mama Rage, Big Mama Growth, Big Mama Greatness. Super excited to be a part, to have this topic. Now, this is what I always tell people. When I have pre-scheduled topics for the moments, my life always ends up, this is the power of the tongue, this is the power of thought, this is the power of manifestation. My life almost always centers around whatever the week that week, in this case the law is for that week. But there have been many times where I've done declarations, I've done affirmations, and like kind of whatever it is I put as that week's theme, oh my God, the week literally mirrors that, and the creator absolutely qualifies me before I get to actually streaming and going live. So it's always such a whoo. And sure enough, my mother and her strength and her glory and her greatness is going to be such a big part of this moment. What I've learned from her, what I've gathered from her, and her strength and her love this week. Because law number 14, I have not felt sorrow without reason. Before I get into all of the moment today, I do want to just go ahead and give that disclaimer that I do give every day. Everything that I am saying is coming from my thoughts, the feet that I have sat before or knelt before, the lessons and the scholars that I admire have learned from my spiritual practices of Maya and Kemetic history and practices. That is my frame of reference. It does not mean that it has to be your frame of operation, okay? It does, however, mean that as long as we are here to grow and gather and become our greatest selves from our character and our greatest being, we all have a place of grace in the space, okay? And you are welcome in a moment of harmony to get your moment, no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you are about. As long as you're about that high vibration, we gonna vibrate together, okay? So you are welcome here. Please do not ever feel forced, pressured, coerced, because that is not my thing. My thing is that there's enough love in the whole world to overflow the world and then some, flow over into the universe, into lives after life after life after. I have nothing but love to offer, nothing but joy. I want nothing but the best for your life. I am a spiritualist. I am a healer. I am an educator. That is what I came to do, okay? And I came to do it in love. I also came to do it in peace. So if you come on up in here, that's all you're going to get from me, okay? Love, love, love. Thank you. So good to see you. Thank you all. So again, I'm coming from my studies, but I'm coming for your life. Okay. I'm coming for your elevation. I'm coming for your love and the greatness of you. Thank you so much. Beauty, back to you. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay. Thank you. So yes, let's go ahead and get it on and popping. I have not felt sorry without reason. Now, just 2 days ago, today's Saturday, Thursday, I got a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning. They said, your mother's house is on fire. Are you a daughter of Victory? That's my mom. Thank you. And I said, yes. 4 a.m. I'm up. I'm startled. And they say, your mother's house burnt down. You need to come and get her and at the time her king. Come and get her and her king. I think they say her boyfriend, but that's how we refer to it up in the family. Your love, your honey bun. Okay. So I said, I was super startled. I ran. I didn't know what I was going to walk into. I get to my mother's house. I had to park like 2 blocks away because there's mad fire trucks, more fire trucks than I probably ever seen in one place. And I get there at my mother's house. This was just Thursday. If you're watching this in real time, I'm well aware that there will be some people somewhere in the future watching this in a year that is not 2024, on a day that is not August the 30th. Is it the 31st? August the 31st. And you know what I'm saying? It came across you when it was supposed to. But in real time, in real life, we walked in. My mother's whole house was on fire. They put the fire out. House completely burnt, not a little burnt, because as children, we had a basement fire once, and the basement was destroyed. So we had never ever seen like a whole, how it was very traumatic. Thank you all for your love right now and the energy that you're sending. My mother she's fantastically fabulous. She was not on that day, right? No one was on that day. It was a very, very vulnerable, very traumatic, very, very harsh and hard day. My mother made it out. Her king made it out alive. I gave great thanks for that. My baby brother, who was murdered some years ago, he had an urn on a mantelpiece. His urn came out, nothing but sit on it, untouched. We gave thanks for that. She had 3 dogs. They came out alive, but they had just had a litter of puppies, maybe I think 3 weeks ago. The litter of puppies did not survive the smoke. So again, very traumatic, very traumatic. I bring all of this up all not to give a tribute to my mother and her strength and her greatness, also to say thank you for all the support. Her GoFundMe was through the roof. She's telling me daily how people are calling her to support her, to rehouse her, to offer resources and things that she need. I was there when her whole neighborhood block came out. I have this theory that people are good. There's a country song that I love that says, I believe most people are good and most mothers ought to qualify for sainthood. It's something like that, and I love it. So, yes, I believe most people are good. And I know a lot of people do not agree with me. I was just talking to my sister about it. She was like, what? People are crazy. I believe most people, their essence, are good. I believe that we come from creation. I believe that we were created in love. I believe that there is disruption here, that there's complexity here, and that there is challenge here in order to grow us into a higher level of operating in self. I believe that the greatest things inside of us are deep, and sometimes we get all broken up to get to all the deepness. But I don't think that the average person is bad. Do I think there's some sick and twisted individuals? Absolutely. Do I think that on a grand scale, destruction rules the day? In a lot of ways, yes. But I believe that the average person, the person that you work next to, that you live next to, that you're next to in the car, or you're in line at the grocery store, I believe has a great percentage of goodness in them. When I was at my mom's on her block, her whole block was out. Her whole neighborhood was out. They were bringing blankets. They were going in their houses and getting things that she may need, purses and shoes and clothing. I mean, they were bringing her food. They were feeding her dogs. They were giving her dogs water. My mother, we were out there for hours, almost over 12 hours. We were just outside because it was, it was very traumatic. It was hard for my mother to just leave and walk away from the house and everything that was going on. It was a lot. But I wanted to first say thank you to everyone that is continuously pouring out to my mother, myself, my siblings, love, prayers, thoughts, concern, and actual physical, tangible support as well. Grateful, grateful, grateful. I also wanted to bring it up because it is so in alignment, divine alignment, with my moment today. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Now, having me in your family is a lot like being married or related to a DJ that's on a radio all every day, and everything that they're talking about pertains to their life, and then you're frustrated because you pertain to their life, and then their business is your business. You know what I'm saying? Mercy on me, family. I love my whole family because I'm always telling all of our business. But I'm using it. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome. But I'm using it in alignment, or I am transitioning it or transferring it into the energy of the alignment of the day. Okay? So bear with me. I'm not going to tell all my mama's business, but this is what I'll say. I'll say that she was so distraught the day of. She was hurt. She was hurt. She had a lot to go. She had a lot going on. The next day we called and we checked on her. Still very emotional. Still, of course, like it's a fire. It was a horrible high alarm fire, and she lost everything except for her life. So she was still emotional. But what I saw my mother start to do, she knows I'm very proud of her. I've been texting her that. She started to say, there's so many things she's been wanting to let go of that she hasn't been able to. There's so many cycles, there's so many patterns, there's so many things in her life that have had a hold on her, meaning that she's been deeply desiring a new restart to her life, a re-jump, a revision to her life. Yes, thank you, Mr. Carter. It was, isn't that crazy? That's why we always just got to give love to each other, because you never know. But a revision, right? She just had been wanting a revision. She didn't ask for it like that, but she just wanted a revision. And she's seeing it. She said, devastated yesterday and still working through today, but also seeing it as an opportunity to release old things that don't serve her and to embrace new things, to regrow, revise, and restart inside of herself in a better place. Now, I personally feel that's a good place to go to in any realm of trauma or disaster or pressure, I always say this: we do not serve a cruel creator. Every single thing is happening for a reason. And what are you being guided to? And what my best friend always says: what are you moving? What is God moving in your life when things are shifting for you drastically and dramatically? What is he moving in? What is he moving out? What is he moving for? Okay, what is he moving you towards? But I know that that's a process. It can take people a minute. So I told my mother yesterday, that's collateral beauty. It's in the midst of chaos and in the midst of trauma, in the midst of um what is it? Just upheaval. Things just, what is going on? When the smoke clears, in this case, literally, when the smoke clears, you find out what you have. You find out what you need. You find out how you are. You are made to check in with self in a way that you would may have not been able to do without the clarity of cleared smoke. So I wanted to just definitely dedicate this to my mother, her resilience, her beauty, her strength that continues to encourage us to this day, that we are just always in awe of her resilience and her fight back. Okay, this is a feisty chick. Okay, and he you know um I'm just proud of her. And again, I wanted to say, when we have this law today, I have not felt sorrow without reason. I told my mother yesterday when I was talking to her, and she was talking about, you know what? She's moving from devastation to revamping, to revision, right? She's moving from devastation to revision, and she's trying to find that process, and she's trying to work through that process. And I said, I remember when my baby brother was murdered, I was at a at a straw that broke the camel's back moment in my life. I was a part of an organization. I was working 7 days a week. I was a full-time, all-time, no time off single mom. I wasn't having a lot of support. It seemed like everything that I was drawing to me was putting me in a position of, I don't want to say exploitation, but I was constantly being reminded that I was not taking care of myself. I was not prioritizing myself, that I was self-sacrificing. That's what I will say. It was new relationships, new connections, new friendships, new projects. Everything seemed to illuminate the self-sacrificing component in my life, and I could not run away from it. And what happened was, when I was in this fragile place, and all these things were piling on top of me, and I was still so afraid to speak out. I was still so afraid to act out. I was still so afraid to put up boundaries. I was afraid to enforce. I would say things and I would ask things, but I would let life just keep suffocating me, and things just keep draining me. And I was at a really, really rough place, as far as I'm one person with the world on my shoulders. And I mean, not just my children. I was supporting many loved ones at that time at many different points in their lives. And I have an open door policy. And again, as a community leader and advocate, I was always welcoming people in. When my brother passed away, he was living with me at the time. And also just concerned about him and his welfare, and him being a 19-year-old. And when he died, it seems like everything that was sitting on top of this fractured brace just broke. It just broke. And while it was devastating, while I feel like, it was the end of an era, there's the end of a life there, for me and my family and my reality. We have never been those people again. There was an end of something, and there was a beginning of a whole nother something. The butterfly coming out of the cocoon. And trust me, I've had a cocoon moment since then, but I can remember feeling devastated. But I was so hurt. I was so at the bottom. I felt so broken. I felt so, I was in so much despair that everything else didn't matter. There was nothing else that mattered. There were even down to eating. It didn't even matter if I ate or not. I'm not saying that this was a healthy place. What I'm saying is that this was a necessary place. Because what it did was it allowed my whole the life, as it what they call in tarot a tower moment. They allowed everything to fall apart in order for me to reconstruct and rebuild a life that fit me, that I was in. It's like in being in a tiny house and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and the house is things. At one point, it's going to pop, like a cartoon, or those types of animated movies. It's going to break. I don't know if you remember, anyone ever saw Shrek. Y'all know I have a crew of little ones. But if you ever saw Shrek, and Fiona, she was a woman and she was a princess, and then when she married Shrek or something like that, she started to turn into an ogre. Or she was a woman, she was in one set of clothing. When she became an ogre, she would break through and bust all the clothing. Same thing like the Incredible Hulk, just outgrow everything. Or the werewolf movies, when he's a man and then the full moon comes out and everything pops. At some point, a new you emerges, and everything around you must be destroyed in order for the new you to come about. And how we deal with those things can dictate how we get, how we deal can dictate our destiny, how what we're destined to move towards, what we're destined to obtain. See, if you break with the house, you don't grow into something that fits you. If you give in to the thing that you've outgrown, if you give up and break down with the thing that no longer serves you or no longer fits you, you never get to see your victory, pun intended, as you move into the next level of yourself. It was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to lift you. It was meant for your destiny. It was meant to grow you. We watch our children constantly outgrow clothing and outgrow shoes. We don't sit and mourn. Our law, I have not felt sorrow without reason. We do not sit. Now, we might, as parents, hold on to a little baby shirt, hold on to a little, excuse me, something in that way. We have never, but we don't sit and cry over the shoe they no longer fit. We acknowledge that it doesn't fit anymore. Oh, need a new shoe. We go and purchase new shoes. And we don't sit and sulk. We don't sit at a door that's been closed to us and cry at the door and lose focus over doors that are opening for us around us. Situations we have now graduated to. We don't leave a grade in school and say it's the last day of school and sit in the classroom because it's the last day of school. We go into summer and we transition into our new grade. And I say that because I had a preschooler that went into a kindergartner this year, and she was so excited about going into kindergarten, and she was so curious as to what the difference would be between preschool and kindergarten and what the changes would be. And she was just saying, so if I was a preschooler last year and it's only been 3 months and I'm a kindergartner now, what is different? And there, right there, beautiful daughter, pun intended, is the mission. What is different between where you were, where you are, and where you're going? Because that is where the necessary comes in. That is when the all comes in. This is the plan. The enemy is your step stool. Everything for a reason. Head and not the tail. All of those things come into play in the growing, in the becoming, and the exchanging. So let us go through this, okay? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not sat and I have sulked in pain and misery, and I don't have a reason to do it. I don't have the positioning to do it. It's not the mission for me to be caught where I am. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Now, many of us will hear this and say, who is sad for no reason, right? Who is about to sit up here sulking and being hung up on the past and the patterns and the issues for no reason? There's a lot of us that feel like we are suffering to suffer. We're suffering because life is hard, or life isn't fair, or that's the way things are, or let me tell you what it is. It's about to show you. A lot of us think that The reason we're going through seasons that we're going through is because life is just made up that way. And I want to come and share in this moment. I want to come and share in the clarity of everything that we're exchanging today, that you are not just going through because life is difficult. You're going through because life is transformative. Life is graduatory. You are going through because life is growing you from one place to the next. A seed is not bursting out of a seed because being a seedling is hard. A seed is busting out of a seed because it now must grow into through the soil. Then it must break through the soil, and then it must come up out of the soil and grow towards the sun. Everything is moving you towards the sun. Everything is moving you towards your becoming. Everything is moving you towards your full bloom. So are you sitting and being sad because as a seed you are no longer a seed? You're no longer a caterpillar. We are not getting stuck in those mind frames. So when we say, who is just sitting up here being sad for sad? Who is just sitting up here with no reason to be upset, and they are upset for no reason? And so in this way, this law can become kind of confusing. We gonna stick with me, okay? Walk with me today. My first point, and I have not felt sorrow without reason, is the misappropriated misery that we feel as a people. The misappropriated misery that is what is this, produced and awarded as a society. Okay, misappropriated misery. I don't know if you all remember when you were children, some maybe your parents didn't say it, but maybe an adult said it to you at some point. When you were a child, you were crying because something was wrong, and the adult would say, what are you crying for? If you keep on crying, I'm gonna give you a reason to cry. Right? They would say, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. And a lot of times you'll be sitting there thinking like, I'm crying because I got a reason to cry. You know, you took this or you said no. Hi, peace, welcome. I'm crying for a reason. What they were saying was that the reason you were crying was not a good reason to cry. It's a reason to use your words. It was a reason to be upset, but it wasn't a reason to cry. Right? And they would say, I'll give you a reason to cry. You keep on crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about. And it seems like one of the most dysfunctional threats. It seems like one of the most, counterproductive reprimands you can receive. But really, in essence, when we think about it, they were saying you're crying for no reason. You're crying when you haven't properly assessed the situation. You're crying because of your lack of patience. You're crying because of your lack of understanding. You don't have a good reason. That's what they were saying to us in that time. Misappropriated misery. As a people, now I can say societally, we all are affected by the dysfunction and the patriarchy and the confusion of this just what does it always say? Dog eat dog, backbiting, crabs in a barrel situation. You know, I say, right? We all have been affected by the backwardsness of this society and the dysfunction of it. You know, the power struggles, the lack of morality, the lack of consideration for human life and growth and betterment. We all, when I say we all, I mean the chemicals in our food, the chemicals in our water, the exploitation of our finances and resources and economy. Like we all are, everybody. I want to specifically move into the space right now of those Black and brown individuals, those of African descent, the misappropriated misery. Okay. What I want to say is when a person comes in, and let me word this, as a people, when you've endured what we've endured, and we have, without the appropriate healing, without the appropriate reprieve, without the appropriate balance to our situation, right? Slavery is over. You are free. Be happy, right? I do a lot of reading. I am a big studier of the human life experience. I love social experiences. I watch a lot of stuff as it pertains to that. I go into a lot of people's stories of survival and growth and development. I immerse myself in the human psyche, the human heart, the human way of being, because I have a great, as a healer, it is my great desire to study how we resolve, how we hold trauma, and how we are in order to change and expand. I cannot tell you the amount of stories that I've seen where individuals have been had long-term trauma, held captive for a long period of time, a weekend, 10 years, sexually assaulted, deprived of food or light or sunlight or resource, whether it is kidnapping or incarcerated individuals, any long-term unnatural environment and the effects of it, and how when it's over and people just say, be free. You're free now. How the person or the individual is never actually free from the circumstance. And that people then allow them into a society to function as a regular person when this person didn't have a childhood, right? A lot of our celebrities go through that. They turn to drugs and they go to alcohol because they were not children. They were working at 5 and 6. They don't know what it's like to go on a field trip or to go trick-or-treating for those that do that. Or they don't have any of those experiences. They become adults and they become disheveled. They become weird. They become intoxicated. They're doing all types of things because of things that they miss. But what is happening is that they are being distorted. The reality is being distorted, and then they are being made to function in reality as if they are normal. And I don't use the term normal derogatively because I don't even like to say what's normal and not normal. We live in a highly dysfunctional society, and normal I use very loosely. But what I am saying is that they are expected as an extremely traumatized individual to go about a life where they are happy and joyful and peaceful, cooperative and cohesive, and work well with others, even though they have been completely isolated from any type of normalcy in their development. And even I talk to this all the times when I work with sisters that have had kings that were incarcerated for long term. Listen, bless your heart, okay? Work. But I'm always having to bring to the forefront, you are loving a caged man. You are loving a caged woman. You are starting a life with someone who looks like a man, smells like a man, talks like a man, but has been caged throughout their childhood. That grew up literally in captivity, grew up in an animalistic environment, an unfair, dehumanizing, emasculating environment. Now you want to bring him into your home and you want to have a marriage and a family with him as if everything is normal. This is a different type of insanity. This warrants a different type of misery, to have been completely traumatized, to have been completely violated, to have been completely manipulated, and then separated from that situation and put into a show up capacity. Think like an adult, talk civilized, speak with some sense, act like you have. At this point, I'm not just talking about incarcerated individuals. I'm talking about individuals of traumatic, violating, manipulative, transformative experiences. Now, those are on some more personal levels. On a grander level, if you break people down to the most inhumane and insane realities of existence, the most insane realities in existence, and then you put them in a life and say, be normal, be balanced, have healthy thoughts, be healthy in your mental capacities, love openly, trust, give, do, be great. You're asking someone who is completely developed in one area, built and constructed in one arena, to be another thing in another arena. This is another form of misery. This is a level of misery that you cannot find in the average textbook, that will not be taught in your average class, that cannot be fully comprehended by the regular schmegular everyday situation. However, as Black and brown people, as individuals of African descent, of those of us that are extensions of enslaved individuals, tortured, tortured and deprived race, that is exactly our circumstance. And unlike most people, right, that may have been kidnapped, somebody kidnapped them and raped them for a weekend and beat them and called them names and humiliated them for a weekend. Unlike most people, and once they got free, they escaped, or the police found them, or they got saved. They no longer have to ever see their captor again. They don't have to be in that circumstance again. They now just get to heal. They just gotta heal. And all of them talk about the residual effects, sounds, smells, constant triggers and reminders, even though they're free. We have been in that circumstance, except for we have still had to be told that it wasn't what it was, or we have not had appropriate acknowledgement, we have not had appropriate rectification, we have not had the appropriate health and healing. Like we've been saying, you good now, go be great. Right? Families ripped from one another, mass lynchings, mass murderings, mass deprivations. I mean, just being deprived of rights and dignity and character and you name it. Right? And then you add in that it doesn't stop. So you still have to, with that captive energy, you still have to exchange and grow with it, but you have to be on your best behavior. Never mind your triggers, never mind your experiences, never mind the trauma and the accentuation of it as it is still moving on. You have to be on your best behavior. I'm saying all of this to say that creates a different level of misery and a different level of coping. Many of us can talk about how, as we've gone through in life and as we've gone from decade to decade, how we then begin to hold on to dysfunctional family practices. Like we don't talk about it, it's not real. If we don't deal with it, it didn't happen. Don't blame. Don't speak up. All types of craziness, right? Children should be seen and not heard. All of these dysfunctions come from a place of our history and our development. All of the things about us being insignificant, all of the things about us being small, playing small, all of the pressures, all of the fears, all of these things are coming from a place of misery. What do we begin to do with that misery over time? When people are telling you you're good now, you're free now, you do whatever you want to do now, all is good now, so don't even worry about it. And then they begin to victimize you, right? Black on black crime, Black broken homes. Fathers leave their children. Black mothers are uneducated. Being a single mother, being a young mother. I mean, then they begin to take your brokenness and demonize you with your brokenness so that you have to hold the accountability of your condition alone. Different type of misery. I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. A different type of misery. What do we do with that type of misery? What do we do with what was being passed down? My grandmother is the oldest person in my family right now. She's about to be 88 in October. 88. So what do I do with the trauma that is still being passed down? The stories that are still being shared, the stigmas that have been embedded in her, that even in her love and even in her light, she still has to give what she has. Right? What do we do with that type of misery? What do we do with those types of, with that type of conflict? Constant conflict. We harbor it. We hold it. We smoke it. We drink it. We sex it. We deny it. We shop it. We spend it. Listen, this is what we do with that type of misery. We then end up with misappropriated misery. And what will happen is we won't address the elephant in the room. We won't deal with head on what the root of what our pains are. But we will attack a symptom all day long. I'm trying to remember, Baba used to say it all the time. He used to quote who was it that he would quote? I'm so mad that I'm drawing a blank on his name. But he was saying that the quote came from someone that he used to quote, and it said, black people will swallow a donkey and choke on a peanut. Oh my God, this is a very well-known person. I'm so mad that I'm drawing a blank. But will swallow a donkey and choke on a peanut. This is what I mean by misappropriated misery, right? We'll be up in arms about the most smallest, insignificant, just unable to be settled, loud, vulgar, aggressive, anxious, angry about something very minuscule. But then we will have something that requires our immediate attention, requires our immediate enthusiasm, it requires our immediate what is it called? Uniting or work or effort. Inquire our immediate effort. And we will focus on what we say last night, Sissy, BBLs, right? We'll focus on black families are falling apart. We're being attacked. The draft is coming back. Real stuff is happening. And we will get together and we'll talk about Cheesecake Factory as a first date. And hours and hours and hours of conversation about things like that. About, Shein versus Temu or Facebook versus Instagram. And we can literally be watching a full summer of black children going missing, right? We can be watching a full, right? Incarceration numbers advancing, public school situations decreasing. Things that really, but again, when you watch the worst happen, give birth to a baby, someone snatches the baby, they sell the baby. Your husband, your wife, strung up on a tree, naked before everyone to see, beat and humiliated, powerless. You are rendered powerless. Watch your wife to get raped in your face. You are to sit, you are to watch, you are to be broken. When you watch the worst happen and you are told that it is normal, it is the way that it is. It was yesterday, it was in the past, let it go. You don't get rid of the dysfunction. The disaster never leaves you. So if the disaster doesn't leave you and you don't deal with the disaster, what happens next? You leave the disaster. Mind you, the disaster is inside of you. This is insanity. This is, what are you talking about? This is, what are we doing? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why would we pollute our own neighborhoods? Why would we kill over a pair of tennis shoes? We're talking about the effect of misappropriated misery. Misappropriated misery. I'll give you a reason to cry. The law says, I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not stayed up all night crying about this something that I saw on TV, or I'm discombobulated about something that someone said that they've been saying for years and hundreds and centuries. However, I have dysfunction right in my midst. right in my home, right? We're talking about children who walk home and they seen, oh, I've raised children in Baltimore City. And I have children that are now young men, and the things that they tell me that they've seen, I never knew. My son told me that he was 9 years old the first time he saw a dead body in the alley on the way to school. On the way to school. First body, just dead, 9. Never told me that. But guess what will happen? We'll go to school, we'll be distracted, may be disruptive, and then the teacher will come down and be like, what's your problem? What is wrong with you? And they have said things, you're not going to be nothing. Keep it up. I'm going to be visiting you in jail. I'm not going to say everybody. He's had some great teachers, but he's had some experience. They've had some experiences. Okay? And all of that focus on he's having a hard time focusing. He's not paying attention. And the things that he's walking through, from home to school, from poverty to pollution to perversion, and the things that are a part of their reality from one door to the next door. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Misappropriated misery. We will focus on the thing that is upsetting us and not the thing that has upset us. I am being upset. I'm being triggered by this thing. What is it? So we're going to keep trying to cure your trigger instead of trying to kill your trauma. And so we get as a people into a heightened sense of defensiveness. We get into a heightened sense of anxiety and mistrust. We get into a heightened sense of, I work for a very large agency full of many, many people. And on a regular basis, if you've ever just worked in customer service, if you ever just worked in people work, and you see the amount of trauma, how easily defensive someone is, how easily the protective measures, the fear, the frustration, 0 to 100 real quick. Why are you feeling like that? You know the labels. Why are you so aggressive? Why are you so forceful? Why are you so loud? Misappropriated misery. Our ancestors said we are to bring balance to the dysfunction. We are not to deny it. We are not to get away from it. We are not to do away with it. We are to bring balance to the dysfunction. We are to bring balance. We are not to act like it does not exist and, like, again, separate ourselves from it. We are to bring balance to it. Bring balance to it. Misappropriated misery. Our ancestors say, bring some balance to this thing. It's putting you in a place of crying over things that you shouldn't be crying about. Cry because you don't have a voice. Cry because you can't use your voice. Cry because you can't, but you don't, you're mad at the wrong thing and you're focused on the wrong problem. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Now, a second thing when it comes to this law of I have not felt sorrow without reason is just what I talked about about my mother in the beginning. Have you grieved when gratitude will do? Or have you grieved without the balance of gratitude and or, you know what I'm saying? Have you been in a situation that is just so heavy and bad and all you can do is cry? All you can do is mourn. All you can do is sit and fester. Have you grieved when gratitude will do? My mother was told 1,000 times at that. And I told myself that so many times when I was sitting there to comfort her. And I can see clean through her house, from the front to the back, from the floor to the ceiling, clean through. And I said, you know what? My mother could have been trapped in there. She normally sleeps with her door closed and locked, and they said the fire detectors never went off. On this particular day, she doesn't even know why, they ended up falling asleep without closing the door, which made it easy for her to smell the fire that started downstairs. A fire started downstairs. You were upstairs and you still were able to get downstairs and out of the door in time. And she said she almost didn't make it because she couldn't get through the smoke, getting down the stairs, and was afraid that she was dying before the door was opening, and told her king, you gotta get that door open because she was not being able to breathe. Have you grieved when gratitude will do? Have you grieved when gratitude will do? Have you grieved without gratitude in balance? Have you not balanced out what you should be grateful for? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not felt sorrow without reason. When I can sit here and I can say, you know what? Listen, I'm raising people. I'm a single mother. I'm raising people. The stress, oh my goodness, this first week of school, the fact that your girl is here, okay, and that I have a smile and that I'm not in a straitjacket is all but a miracle. It's all a miracle. It's all a miracle, okay? And what I am saying is, when I can go on and go on and go on and say, these kids, these children, my children, I have 5 children, I have 5 children, I have 5 children. And then I can remember the Dawson 5, I think only a decade ago, who the a family home burned down just down the street from my house. The Dawson family, they were on the news, very famous. I had a cocktail thrown through their window by a drug dealer because the family had spoken out to law enforcement against them selling drugs on their block because they had so many children in the home, and they had a cocktail thrown through their home. Everyone died. Mother, father, and the 5 children. Everyone died. So I can sit up here and I can say, I gotta take care of these kids. I have to do this for the children. First day of school, second day. Some mother out there did not get a first day of school with their child. Blessings to you if you're on this line and that's you. Some mother out there, child died this summer. Drowned, got shot, got COVID, something. Have I grieved without when gratitude will do? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Some people saying, they out of work and they upset and they got a gripe and they kicking the dog. They're upset a lot about not having, not having their job. Did you work? Were you at work on the Key Bridge this summer? Were you at work on that bridge? When a boat hit that bridge and 6 men never made it back home from work? Are you grieving? Thank you all so much. Are you grieving when gratitude will do? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I'm not saying that we don't acknowledge things that bother us. I'm not saying that we don't feel pain on any level because it's not the most extreme pain there could be. I'm not even saying we compare our pain to others. What I am saying is, just like our parents used to say, I'm going to give you a reason to cry if you don't stop crying. Are you crying though? For a reason that you shouldn't be crying. Some problems require your words. Some problems, again, require your patience. Some problems require your understanding. Some problems require your growth, your sacrifice, your time. Not every problem requires your grief. And you're getting stuck and you're not being able to grow because you're busy grieving. I have not felt sorrow without reason. Law number 14. And what do I always say? We're supposed to start out with a proclamation and then end with the declaration. That's how it goes. I will not feel sorrow without reason, meaning I am going to be standing guard over my emotions. I am going to be practical and properly analyze what it is I'm feeling and thinking. I will not feel sorrow without reason. And then again, at the end of the day, I have not felt sorrow without reason. That's how our ancestors set it up. Brilliance. Boom. Right? The last part of this, and this moment is getting ready to go long, so thank you all for bearing in there. The chat has been extremely positive and going off the chains. Love to you all. I want to always remind everyone that I cannot answer all questions and all statements in real time, but you can always DM me. I am third, THIRD underscore EYE underscore therapist on Instagram, THERAPIST. So third underscore I underscore therapist, third eye therapist on Instagram. I'm Harmony Davis on Messenger. You always can DM me and inbox me for personal sessions, healing sessions, any types of exchanges of healing and love and light. That's how you can reach me, okay? So but yes, I have not grieved without gratitude, or I have not grieved when gratitude is due. The other part to that, I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not felt sorrow without reason comes down to this. This is going to be our last point. I am not shy with my why. Right? I am not shy with my why. I am not passive when it comes to what is causing me pain. I am not passive when it comes to what is causing despair or destruction. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not just been sitting up mercilessly, being beat down by life, being drugged down by emotions, being pained down by frustrations, and I have not assessed and addressed them. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I am not shy with my why. This is in reference to cycles and patterns of depression and pain. I am not shy with my why, meaning that whatever it says, it could have said I have not felt sorrow. Our ancestors didn't say that. That's unreasonable. They didn't say the law is not that you don't feel sorrow. The law says do not feel sorrow without reason. Do not be pitiful and pathetic in sorrow. Do not be malicious and manipulative in sorrow. Do not be prolonged, and unnecessary in sorrow. It's saying I have not felt sorrow without reason. I am not shy with my why. Whatever it is that is keeping you up at night, whatever it is that is shrouding and clouding your judgment, keeping you from your routines, the things that bring you joy and make you happy, whatever it is that's pulling you away from the best part of yourself, you cannot be passive aggressive about what. Why do I feel this way? Why am I thinking this way? How have I gotten to this point? Because I cannot just walk through life being and feeling this way when I am destined to be and feel so much more, do and be so much better. I am not shy with my why. I don't play around with it. If I know I'm in a season, I carry this season as such. I'm not going to watch this type of TV show. I'm not going to listen to this type of music. I'm not going to go be around these type of people. I'm not going to engage in this type of conversation because I am not shy with my why. I don't feel like myself because I'm in a low vibration. I don't feel like myself because I'm wounded and I'm healing. I don't feel like myself because I'm just brand new out of trauma and I haven't gotten off my crutches just yet. Do not be shy with your why. Do not be unapologetic about your approach to your emotions. Be unapologetic about your approach to your healing and your growth and your development. I cannot date people that trigger unresolved childhood issues that are going to treat and repeat cycles in me that were wrongfully, or I would say inappropriately instilled in me in the first place. I'm not shy. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have gotten to the root. I am cognizant of the root. I honor the root. I nurture the root. I treat the root. I have not set anywhere for no reason. I have not set in any type of disdain, any type of discomfort, any type of depression, dysfunction. I have never just sat there to be sitting there, lived there to be living there. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I know why, and if I don't know why, I'm figuring it out. I'm actively figuring it out. I'm actively seeking an understanding. I'm actively transforming and reproducing. But you haven't caught me be sad for no reason. You haven't sat and watched me sit in a low version of myself and don't know why. Well, why don't you? My kingdom, he got in trouble at school the other day. He took something to school that he shouldn't have took to school, and it was misunderstood. Oh my goodness. He took a hand gripper that you work out with, like a stress reliever thing that strengthens your arm and your hand. He took it to school. He told people it was a gripper. People went home and told their parents he had a gripper, like a gun that goes on a gun. Whole school was up in arms. They think my son brought a gun. I asked him, why are you bringing anything to school? He said, I don't know. I don't know. So you don't have no reason? The reason that I'm asking the question is, you done something inappropriately. Something has been done wrong. It's caused chaos, and it's not right. It's not cool. It's bad, actually. It's very bad. But I can find a way out of this. I can figure out what's going on. I can get better understanding and give you better resolve if I know the reason. So the only worst thing than you initiating chaos, the only worst thing than you being a part, exactly, the only worst thing than you being a part of some shenanigans is that you don't even have a reason. This is what our ancestors were saying to us. This is what they were conveying for us. The only worst thing with you not living to your best capacity, with you not healing at the rate in which you are inept to heal, or that you are created to heal, intended to heal. The only good reason for you not living up to the highest of standards that you could possibly, drawing in the respect that you could have, creating the life that you could magnetize to you, the only thing worse, the only thing worse than you not being your best is that you don't have a reason for it. I don't know. I don't know why I can't save my money. I don't know why I feel this. I don't know why I can't be in a healthy relationship. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. What's wrong? I don't know. I just feel some type. I just feel anxious. I just feel angry. Our ancestor says this: honor the root. Acknowledge the root. Heal and nurture the root. You know, if a plant is damaged, they cut off what's dead and then they nurture the root. They don't even mess with the rest of the plant. Honor the root. The only thing worse than some craziness is craziness without reason. I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not misappropriated. I am cognizant of the traumatic climate that I live in and the traumatic DNA coding that I hold based on the history of my legacy and my roots in this place. I am cognizant and ever present with my healing. I am mindful of my praying. I am mindful of the way that I treat each other people. I am super cognizant of the trauma. I do not misappropriate the misery and live in chaos for no reason. Soak in sadness for no ADHD and anxiety and medication and all of the fear. I just take the pills. Why? What is going on? What is going on? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have not been more focused on the negative without balancing out with the positive. I have not gone into any problem without finding out the reason that I am going through such an equation. Any math problem gets broken down into a sum. I have not just sat and looked at a problem without solving it. I have not grieved without gratitude in balance, or I have not grieved when gratitude is what I'm expected to do. Is what was the reason for the season. It was the whole it was the necessity of the situation. I have not grieved without gratitude. And also, and very importantly, I know why. I focus on the why. I fix the why. I nurture the why. I am not shy about my why. I'm not about to go and be around things that make me feel bad. I'm not going to go and be around circumstances and people that don't love or serve or nurture or uplift me. I'm not going to partake in things that just make me just stay at the club all night knowing it just makes you feel empty in the morning. Having meaningless intimacy and situationships knowing it just breaks you down and makes you feel worse. Well, come on, get to the reason. Why you feel, don't be shy about your why. Passive aggressive about what you're feeling. Why you're feeling. Your heart speaks to you. It says this is where we are now. This is what we need now. This is what we do now. And I have not been stuck in a place that my heart is not. I have not been stuck in a place that does not serve me well. I have not been hurting in a place, bleeding out and crying of the bleed out without reason. Why are you sitting there bleeding when you can find a Band-Aid or a doctor or a gauze? Why would you just sit there? I have not felt sorrow without reason. I have properly assessed and addressed my trauma. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me for a moment of harmony. Thank you for all of your love and positivity today. I am so, so grateful for you all always. Thank you for your mommy mercy, okay? Those that tuned in live, I love you again. Y'all, keep your head on up. Keep your head on up, okay? Keep your head on up. Love and light to you all. Thank you so much for joining me for a moment of harmony. I cannot wait to join you for another moment next week. Please join me back here, same time, same place, 10 o'clock on Saturday mornings. Occasionally we move to a Sunday, but I always put a notice right here if we do. Thank you again for a moment of harmony. Go on and take really good care of yourself. And while you are at it, go on out your way to take really good care of someone else. Thank you all for your love, your light, and your support. Love and light to you all, always. See you next week, Mr. Quarter.